Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Maybe you have read my theory paper. I posted it temporarily a few months ago, but it's the same theory, but with additional new information. So Ponce de Leon, deciphering the blue and the stone head. If you look at this, there are 4 blue parts on his body. He gives instructions on how to find the cats. And I'm sure you're wondering, why is the stone head there? I believe I know why. That statue is famous, also known as the brain puzzle icon. The sapphire gemstone that's located in the brain is required to correctly interpret all of the sketches inside the stone head and Ponce de Leon's instructions. So, looking at the painting, there are 2 maps included. You ask, how do I know that the cat is hidden in the Fountain of Youth part? If you look at the bottom, the sailfish pond, it kind of gives you a hint within the name. It's called Drake's 1586 Raid on St. Augustine. On the map, I observed 2 sketches that were similar. First, a capital I, which is shown across the map, and second, the pond is shaped like a sailfish and is blue in color. So the arrow marks show the cat located hidden in the Timacoon village of Savoy. It is today called the Fountain of Youth Archaeological Park, and that's where the cat is hidden. So there are 2 different places, both have the same shape of concrete arch and a sentence on a signboard. The first chapter found a book in yellow writing on the ocean water. I'm especially interested in learning more about Ponce de Leon's first chapter when he arrived in St. Augustine in 1513. I think it's very interesting. So the top front shown here resembles a chessboard, and the back is blue. So both blues can be combined to provide instructions on how to use the navigator guide for the cat's location. Spanish seafarers used a traverse board, and on the top is a compass rose, and below is a table of recorded speeds. By looking at the time, speed, and compass, along with spotting blue items here and there, to support the verses. The pond sailfish is blue, shown here on the map. The second line has a blue pattern right next to the concrete arch, which represents the blue ocean. So it's perfect how both include the color blue. The Spanish soldier statue has a base with a red square on the floor upon which the statue is placed. The soldier sits on a saddle that looks like the base of the statue. And the blue legend number 5 appears on the horse's body, referring to the ticket booth to buy tickets. By using the FOI legend numbers, I can look at the speed directions which tell me to get a FOI map and use a traverse board with the blue to find the cat. That explains the amount of blue that's in the stone head.
The black outline triangle with a bit of white is Magnolia Avenue. Don't go there because there is no blue color. The legend number 3 sits on a long branch, which refers to the planetarium. Therefore, both the green picket fence and the vent branches are located close to the planetarium. Now, the horse's face has a blue colored shape that shows both the fence and the dome. The tall post of the green picket fence is next to the planetarium. A similar tall post with a glass blue pendant on top and blue light show the horse's jawline. Both are clues hinting that the light shines at night. front of the tall post fence is where you can see the fountain. A blue fountain and a tabby concrete walls are seen on the horse's neck. The Canadian goose can make a honking sound and has a blue number 3 on both the head and wing, and is next to the ball on the post, which indicates that it is where I should go there for the next verses. The number 2 appears on the fingertip and points towards the X mark. It indicates that we are close to, interpreter state. So from there, I walked to see if there were matches in the painting. So 4 sketches that match the artifacts were found at the end of the wall. On the left column, there is an oyster shell shape that looks like a bird next to the gate and the cannon. The black legend number 3 appears on the left side of the oyster shell. The acronym FOY is the title of a legend on the historic park map. All 4 clues together identify the boundary fence for the FOY. One moment, the interpreter lost where we were at.
Yeah.
So let's go to the only planetarium I know that has a dome that displays moving stars. Turn the face 90 degrees counterclockwise. Here you can see a door and benches. As you enter it, you'll see blue constellations projected onto the ceiling. There's 2 different sites they were put together to create a blue face. The eyes look at the constellation on the dome during the day. That film shows the Spanish seafarers studying the constellation at night. The cheek appears in the shape of a number 3 to confirm that it is the right place. So where is the boat? The eye looks at the blue cloud in the shape of Florida, which represents how Spanish naval ships traveled to Florida under clouds day and night for many months. 2 are other significant sketches that support the Spanish settlement in Florida. 1, the blue alligator is a common species in Florida. The blue background behind the large stone, the palm tree, is on the Great Seal of the state of Florida. It looks like a whale. The fisherman anchor.
The fisherman what?
The fisherman anchor. The fisherman anchor. It's the name. Anchor is the name of it.
It's called fisherman anchor.
And that's to make sure that the whale stays on shore. So the crew could start working around it and taking, and that's why you actually only see the whale head. In the Blue River,
I do see it, yeah.
you'll see,
I see it by the picture on the lower right-hand side.
you'll see like a duckweed plant. And the Spanish traveled through ships and they would see like the blue alligator. There were tons of blue alligators, whether they were on land or in the water swimming.
And a blue alligator is a type? Never heard of a blue alligator.
Blue.
That is rendered in blue?
It's the rendered in blue.
Rendered in blue,
Yes,
okay, all right.
rendered in blue.
Okay.
Every time you see the color blue, you need to see what is it trying to interpret, or how do I interpret that in the painting? So when the Spanish visited, they would see, you said blue alligator in the water, so kind of alligator? It's just identifying identifying
Okay.
alligators on land and in water, and because it's colored in blue, there's some sort of things to identify.
Can you hear us?
No,
Oh, she can't hear or speak?
no, so when you're voicing, I'm talking to her, so
Okay,
she
got
knows
it.
that
Thank
you're
you.
talking. Okay.
Water.
Let's go to the planetarium, I know, has a dome that displays moving.
No, she's talking about an inlet. So this is the inlet, and when you get to the inlet, you arrive to St. Augustine.
I like that.
The Discovery globe is a giant globe with a bright blue color similar to the moon, as shown in legend number 2. By turning it 90 degrees clockwise, you can see both moonlight and a Taurus head with darkness across the audience seat. The tourists can view a film to learn about Ponce de Leon's voyage to the New World in 1513. The number 2 appears on the fingertip and points towards the X mark. It indicates that we are close to the sapphire gemstone, buried, with only 2 more lines of verses. So we're gonna hold from this for a moment. So I'm looking at the last verse. I haven't decided on,
I'm going to the point part,
I'm going to the fourth part,
the Ponce de Leon gift shop.
the Ponce de Leon gift shop. So
I filmed a little bit, went into the gift shop, I shopped around, and then I left. I only stayed about 45 minutes, and then I left the gift shop. So in these pictures,
John Palinsar, a painter, copied the image of a tree on the legend, the number legend 7 on the ornament. He added blue to the branches, trunk, and roots, and these are where the tall grass area is. The green picket fence is right next to the jar with the number 7, referencing the Ponce de Leon gift shop, both as blue and color. The last verse states, "Years pass, rain falls."
I want to make a comment about her reference to the Discovery Globe and what she just said, years past rain falls. At the very beginning of that presentation, it says, in the beginning, the earth was without form and void. As eons of time passed, our world gradually assumed its present appearance. And while those words were being said, there was the sound of a storm or rain coming down. So years past, rain falls, to me, is a direct reference to Brittany's Discovery Globe at the Fountain of Youth.
So what bothers me about this is later, I noticed the blue on the body, and it was bothering me, so I'm looking at it, and I noticed number 5, and then I realized you need to use the legend number. And so then I found number 3, and then I changed the light on it, and I was,
both are in the same place. I'm just gonna, Ponce de Leon gift shop, it's close to the gift shop, and both are in the shade of blue. So the last verse actually says, years past, where is it? The last verse, years past, rain falls. And so, if you look at the white, there's like a cloud with like blue, like raindrops. You can actually see when you shift the painting that the rain is actually falling. Spanish seafarers recorded data in their logbooks to maintain track of their ship's course and distance traveled over years. You'll notice in the legend, I had just mentioned the green color in the water. I also want to mention that algae typically grows at the fountain. Algae typically grows at the fountain. And so now looking at this blue shade here, it's under the water where the cast is hidden. The helmet, the blue on the helmet refers to the sapphire gemstone, and the blue helmet gives you a hint on where to find the cast, if you look at this picture.
The helmet here is blue, which represents the sapphire gemstone. And the blue brain provides hints on how to find the cast. As you can see, the brain is divided into two sides, similar to the blue face. The bottom of the old clay jar is where the last line of verses is. The sapphire gemstone area needs to be identified. Below, the drawing has two purposes: wind direction indicator and compass. Wind direction indicator and compass, both combined provide an answer. The direction is east, which is where I need to look. So turn the compass 90 degrees counterclockwise, and the tree branch transforms into a blue pattern with a dome shape, similar to the copper cauldron. There is a white color beneath the dome in the form of the brick sidewalk. The arrow pointing up matches the east direction on the present Ford map. The white fluffy image is also a plexiglass box because of its shiny and white color. The cask is not in the triangular areas of the glass, rather it is behind the copper cauldron. There are two black outlines, a copper cauldron and a fence with two panels. The X mark is also another fence. The sapphire gemstone is buried next to the fence. I also noticed
there was another arrow pointing a different direction, and so when I got a foil map, I noticed that the corner showed a compass at the top, and I was looking for my bag. Once I found that, I was trying to see which direction east, and I noticed that the arrow was actually pointing in the east direction. So looking here, you'll see the same thing. As the rain comes, in the fog, it's really hard to see the complete picture. You can only see half of it. And that's the same for the top picture as well.
So observing this, the fingertip shows number 7. The hand points towards the plant bed, and that's where the cask is hidden. The plant bed near the Ponce gift shop, the black shadow is a signpost.
Right here. So there are two black outlines, a copper cauldron and a fence with two panels. Split, and that's where I noticed the split rail. So looking over, X marks the spot, but it's also in the shape of this fence. So the sapphire gemstone is actually buried next to the fence. In this one, if you flip the painting over, you'll see that the number 2 actually changes to a number 7. So on this all two, the hand points towards the plant bed. And so as I was looking, I noticed that the plexiglass box that's on top, there are two different triangle shapes that point in this direction, and it looks like it's pointing to the plexiglass box. And if you notice that the sapphire gemstone and the rocks that surround it are both in the same areas, and that's where I believe that the cast is hidden. It's in the plant bed next to the Ponce gift shop. So I was thinking, so how would I be able to dig in that area? So I looked up the blue helmet. I think that's where I would find the answer to that question. So upon observing where do we dig? Okay, so the old clay jar and the east hand that points directly to the plant bed, still trying to figure this out. I noticed that there was a blue glow and a picture of digging. So upon studying it, I noticed that there was a dome shape and a blue pattern that matches it. They both resemble the copper cauldron. And right next, on the left side, there's another glow, which would be the gemstone. And it's kind of hidden behind it. So now, if you look here, this is what you see.
That is buried behind the copper cauldron. It's a picture of the concrete arc inside the dome shape. First line of the verse is where to start hunting for a cast at the FOI engine. Is next to the last line of the verse is giving instruction on how to recover a cast in the plant bed.
Wait a minute. Got these. Okay, can she go back? And I talked to a guy, my buddy up in Montreal. He is for sure it's there too. There's a line
I'm
in
not sure how to
between
turn it back on.
the star
Yeah, let me see.
planetarium and the pine tree that's right outside of the men's room door. There's a line right there, and in that line, there's actually a wind vane too.
Yeah,
But he had-
garden wall tells you it's in a planter.
Yeah, this one, he also says that you take a straight line east, and that takes you to the spring house, but it doesn't. That's when everybody's watching me pace the whole thing off out there.
You asked me to back up.
Yes. The last line, years past rainfalls, how does that equate to the copper cauldron? Oh, I see. I see, yes, that's the copper cauldron.
I'm sorry, I know I wasn't clear. So the last verse, it doesn't actually give you instructions on how to find the cast. So if you look at the painting, you keep looking at it, you'd be able to find more clues that kind of point to where it would be.
You-
Can you go back a couple more slides until you get to one with the keep
And that's the first time I'd ever heard the copper cauldron.
Yes. and
Yeah, me too.
Everybody else
Yeah.
is like centered
It's
on,
a concrete building or a brick building or something like that, yeah.
Look around.
or I even saw when there was like out, right outside the fence on the road.
Yeah.
It's the one that has the gem stuff again. It was, I guess we've gone too far back, so she needs to go forward. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you had.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that too.
So I forgot to mention that. So the helmet, if you split it into half, they resemble the same face. They look the same.
She says split it in half. Okay.
brain, if you split,
Yes, I see what you're saying. And
But where is this at?
One moment.
It's in the planter.
Where it's hidden in Cauldron.
Okay.
And this is the blue,
that's the blue pattern I'm
the
talking
blue
about.
pattern.
Go back to the head. Whether with a blue gem. Go back one. I just didn't see, right there, that one. Where is that at? Oh, it's
where
right next
the
to it.
Clay jar, where the clay jar is,
Yeah,
that's the last verse,
Okay.
that pertains to that. You have to figure out where that gemstone is hidden, that's where, so if you split the brain in half, two different halves, it shows you the two places.
okay. Okay.
I'm gonna find the image where this is turned this way, this is turned that way.
Flip it upside down.
Look,
I didn't have that,
look, yeah, it was in there.
I'm just saying,
Yep, that's it, right, is that right?
so,
You see
So
this
the
right
eye right
here?
there, reverse it.
This is a bull, and that's the eye of the bull known as the bullseye. Okay, and here's the reason why this is so critical. If you stand at the very spot where Pedro Menendez is said to have landed in St. Augustine, it's at the Mission, right across the bay from the Savoy, and you look across the Hospital Creek Bay at the Great Cross, all the way down and to the left, just a little bit, you see the lighthouse.
You can see it there, yeah.
I give tours there,
Yeah.
I'll give a tour there today, showing people this. And that to me is a clue that says, pay attention to what is producing that. And you have or did you have the image of the first order Fresnel lens?
Yes, sir.
That has 3 bullseye panels.
Yes, sir.
Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. Bullseye is huge in this puzzle. And what was Fresnel's first name?
I do not recall, I remember the
Augustine.
goldfish.
Augustine. The first bishop of St. Augustine, who's part of this puzzle. His last name was Varro. What was his first name? Augustine. There's Augustines all over this puzzle, including St. Augustine. And so I just have a question. Why did Pedro Menendez found the city on September 8th?
That's the day he landed, St. Augustine's Day.
What?
The day he landed is St. Augustine's Day.
No,
The day for that saint.
no, that's not right. So this, I promise you, this all tie together in a
I'm
second.
listening without
So-
interjection.
So when Pedro was sailing to La Florida, he first sighted land at Cape Canaveral on August 28th, which is the feast of San Augustine, okay? He arrived at the inlet on September 6th, but he waited until September 8th. Why did he wait? Because Pedro had an immense devotion to Mary. He founded St. Augustine on September 8th, which is the feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin. He founded St. Augustine on Mary's birthday. That's why he waited 2 days before he landed. Feast days, very important feast days, matter in this whole puzzle. They also typically represent dates of death. And when you go to the planetarium lobby, you walk in the lobby, it's not a very wide room. On the right is the traverse board, which is where the windrose is, and the checkerboard. That's why the checkerboard is in his breastplate, the horse rider's breastplate. Immediately to the right is the discussion or the presentation on dead reckoning. That's how they moved across the ocean. Byron playing his word games. Dead reckoning also means reckon the dead, which means their dates of death, which is why Lincoln's, Kennedy's, and Martin Luther King's assassination dates are so important in this puzzle.
Thank you, Miss Brittany, that's an awesome presentation.
I want to just say that these two ladies are awesome.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
That's tag team.
And thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Yes, you guys did great.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
we are running out of time, so I just wanted to say, please take some food with you. I'm not gonna be able to take all of that with me, so please take some.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.